Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I have this tumbler that was sent to me by accident. Actually, I have two of them and I have two smaller white ones, and I'm going to use it, of course, because they sent it to me, and I'm going to make something for a friend of mine. He wants a customized Nets tumbler. Sorry, Jamie, but I'm going to make this for Moo Dog. This is some type of crocodile or something, but we're going to make a custom Brooklyn Nets tumbler out of this. So go ahead, like and subscribe to my channel and stay tuned. Let's get started. Even though I'm not even sure what this is, because this is definitely in there. I don't know what they did with it, but I am going to sand it down. I'm going to sand it down just to see if it'll make a difference. And then spray paint it. Oh, but first let me take this off and put this somewhere where it can be protected and safe and not get dirty. That's the... As I am sanding and prepping this tumbler, getting it back down to the stainless steel, I just got to give you guys the backstory. This is one crazy video. I had to do this tumbler so many times for the first time ever in my life. So take this video with love. It's not a tutorial on what to do. It's more like what not to do. If you have a crazy friend as a client, like my friend Moo Dog, you'll perfectly understand. He called me, texted me, FaceTimed me, borderline harassed me so many times with questions upon questions. How long is it going to take? How many hours does it have to turn? How many layers of epoxy? He doesn't even know what epoxy is. He kept saying epoxy. But nevertheless, I had to lie to him so many times about this tumbler. But I got it done, and it turned out great. So I want you guys to watch. Hope you guys enjoy this video. I'm sorry that this video is delayed. My son was sick, tested positive, so I have so much going on, but I can't forget about you guys. So enjoy the video. Let's get into the tumbler. It's down back to the stainless steel, and even though you can still see some traces of black, it's okay because it is all smooth now. So that's what I wanted. I wanted it back smooth, one level, because I'm going to spray paint this black again. I just sealed off the top, the stainless steel part, with some black electrical tape that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I have this bag under here because, of course, I want this to be a tight fit for when it's turning. And also because I don't want any spray paint going in the cup. So I want to make sure it's a nice seal. Don't you guys hear the birds chirping? It sounds so beautiful, right? So I'm going to be using, of course, my favorite spray paint, Rust-Oleum, the black satin finish. I don't want it too glossy. And I have my little box that I always use. Nice even coats all around. This gives great coverage, and making sure I get everything. I'm gonna let that sit, and then I'll see if it needs a second coat. Okay, so I have my tumbler ready. I just want to let you guys know what waterslide paper I use. The inkjet waterslide decal paper. I have it in white and I use it in clear. Now this one is for the 8.5 by 11 because I'm using my inkjet printer. At first I did use this one for my A4 paper, but you have to have you have to make sure that your printer fits A4. So I did use this one in the beginning, but now this is my sublimation printer. So my sublimation printer has been converted. I can't change the ink back. And that one did have an A4 tray, but the printer I have now does not have an A4 tray. So I have to find the 8.5 by 11. And this is the best decal paper that I have been able to find with 8.5 by 11, 20 sheets. I'll have it linked down below in the description box. This paper is awesome. I've never had any issues with this paper. I'm going to put my decals in. I have room temperature water. I'm going to let that submerge for about 30 to 60 seconds I'm just gonna get the cup wet. You know when the transfer paper is ready once the decal starts to move, and it is moving, but it looks like my ink is dripping a little bit, so I can't. Oh, my ink is dripping. The ink is dripping, so I can't use this decal. Look at that. Now this sat overnight. Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna spray these one more time, and I'm not gonna use that because the ink is dripping. That's never happened before, and it was definitely sealed. I've never used this much black before, so I'm gonna go respray those because I don't even want to put those in water. So here are the decals again. I sprayed them again, so I'm hoping they sat for about another 40 minutes. I'm hoping that this black doesn't run off again like it did. That was really weird. I've never actually seen the ink run off like that, but I know it's probably because it's so much black. So I'm gonna try it again. I'm nervous, but it literally should be fine. Look at that shine. Look at that shine. Always have extra. Always have extra. I sprayed all of them one more time. Let that go for a few seconds. That other one had so much black. Okay, so that looks like it's ready to come off. Okay, let's see if I can get it all to slide off. The middle part is not sliding. Why is this middle part being stubborn? Let me see if I can maneuver it with my hands. It's like stuck to the paper. This is like a first. You know, things always happen when you're trying to record a video, right? Do not tear. This is really weird. Why won't it come off that middle part? All right, I'm gonna see if I can lift it up. That was really weird. Let's see if I can smooth this out because I cannot mess up this water slide. Making sure straight, getting out all of the water from underneath. And that worked. So after I had to go back and seal my decals one more time because the ink was leaking that first time, everything seemed to be going according to plan other than Moo Dog giving me problems. The rest of my decals transferred perfectly. So things were going smooth, but keep watching. You'll see where things got a little messy. This is the first tumbler of many, so you're gonna find out why I had to redo these tumblers over and over again. But as you can see, these transfers just come out beautifully. The water slides transfer perfectly, and I love them. So easy, but I'll slow everything down in a few minutes. So it is on the turner. It's the first coat of epoxy. I used about 20 mLs. I didn't show it only because the person who I'm making a tumbler for happened to call me, and they literally wanted to see the process. They never saw it done. So I should have told them to watch the YouTube video, right? But I'll show when I do the actual second coat. But this is the first coat. I'm only going to do 2 coats because it's really not going to need it. I put all the decals on and stuff underneath the first coat. So if this had been a glitter tumbler, then I definitely would have used 3 coats, but 2 coats will definitely suffice for this. So as you see, I still have that tape on it, protecting it, because of course I don't want the epoxy on the bottom. So I'm gonna pull up the tape from the bottom so it doesn't get too hard. Let me stop it so that way I can find a good grip somewhere. And then I'm gonna turn it slowly and peel it off. No, it's still turning in the wrong direction. Oh no, it's turning in the right direction. Hello, thank you so much. So I actually need to stop it. That's the bottom part. Because that epoxy will get so hard on it. So I'm just going to pull that from around. And I don't want the turner to turn too fast. So I'm just pulling that. Just like that. So it's early the next morning. I took off that black piece of tape. The first coat of epoxy has dried completely. It's pretty much good, but there's like maybe 1 or 2 spots where I was looking and I saw that it actually had like a dent right there, and I'm like, what in the world? How did that get there? So I'm gonna do 1 more coat of epoxy to try to see if I can level that out, get that out. But other than that, this looks almost, there's like 1 little thing right there. So I might try to sand in some spots, because I definitely see where it can use some sanding. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand this, and then I'm going to do 1 more coat of epoxy. And I'm gonna retape this part. I wish I had painter's tape, but I don't have painter's tape, so I'm using this. This is much, you know, this sticks, like really sticks. So I just want to make sure I get it really good underneath the black, not leaving any stainless steel. And that's perfectly sealed. Yeah, so if you can see, there's like a dent here. Oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand this, give this a light sanding, and then clean it up, and then I'll do a second coat. And I'm just gonna use my 120 medium, 120 grit, just smooth that down. When sanding epoxy, I will be putting on a dust mask. So let me get under this mask. So here's where things began to go downhill with this tumbler. I started to sand it, and it was only a light sanding, but of course I sanded too far down towards the top of the rim, and the spray paint and epoxy started to come off, and you can see the stainless steel. Then the bump, forget about that. It didn't even out. It just made it worse. After that, I was trying to clean it off so I can get a good look. I used acetone instead of the alcohol, and it started to rub and remove the epoxy because it wasn't fully cured. I was just so outdone at this point. So I said, you know what? Let me just throw this whole tumbler away and start again. Never again. On to tumbler number 2. This is the second tumbler, so now I just decided to spray paint on top of the old design because I did not feel like sanding all over again. Of course, because I'm doing another tumbler, that means I have to print out more water slides and go through the whole process all over again. But I always do extra. I wanted you guys to see what printer I use. I'm using my Canon regular inkjet printer. Never fails me. It's the TR8520, just in case you wanted to know. But I use the Rust-Oleum clear gloss as always. I used to use the Krylon clear glaze, but I just found this to be much better. So I do 3 coats of this, 30 minutes in between, and then it'll be perfectly sealed in, of course, so the ink and everything doesn't run in. Give it a nice even coat and let that sit for 30 minutes. I actually let the paint drip. Well, I didn't let it drip. The paint dripped in like one little area right here. So I'm gonna try to cover that up because I don't think, let's just see. Remember, I spray painted over what was already there. So you can kind of see the lines vaguely. So I definitely want to cover that up. So if I do this, I can still see that. And I do not like the fact that, yeah, so this is going to cover that up perfectly. But I still have that paint drippage right there. So I called my friend, and I called the customer, who is my friend, and I said, what can we do to cover that up? He said he wanted a refund. We're not doing that. So I printed out these little decal basketballs in the Oracle 641 vinyl. So I'm going to see how that's going to work. And I need to put the vinyl on before I do the decal. I just really didn't want it that close. So, and I don't want it to look weird. So I'm not sure how well you can see it on your screen, but I'm trying to make sure that my water slide actually covers that old image or logo that was on the original mug. And because I have the paint drippage on the side, I'm just trying to make sure I have the placement right to cover all the little small blemishes or mistakes, because I do not want them showing in the tumbler. So I'm just trying to make sure I have all the spacing correctly before I actually apply it. Okay, so that's one basketball. Gotta go with it. It's down. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put my water slide paper in for about 30 seconds. If you wanna know how I get my water slide decals to be cut perfectly, I can do a separate video on that, but for the sake of time today, I'm just gonna keep rocking and rolling. This water slide paper like works really fast. You do not need a full 30 seconds. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make sure I'm in the right spot. You see how it's completely came off the transfer paper already? That completely came off. But I'm gonna hold it to the transfer paper because I need to make sure that it stays straight. I need to make sure I get this perfectly centered. I need those edges. Wow, that completely came off. Okay, so I need those edges. See, I'm just sliding it up. I want all my edges spread out. Sorry if my head is in the shot, but I'm trying to make sure I can see. If you make sure that your transfer paper is sealed, it will definitely hold together. Now I'm just gonna take it and smooth everything out. All the water underneath. Gonna get that all smoothed out. Now there's just this one little area right here. But I'm not sure why that's looking like that. So I don't like the way that looks right here. So I'm gonna actually do the other slide and hope and pray that that works. So let's pick this transfer up because I don't like the way that looks at all, but I'm gonna hold on to it just in case if this one messes up. And I'm gonna transfer it really quick because I want it to stay on the backing. I just want it to be able to move slightly, and it's ready. And I'm going to make sure I have it in position where I want it at. And I'm just gonna have to move this camera over really quick because you do have to work kind of fast. Oh my God, are you kidding me? So at this point, I'm really getting frustrated, and I'm going back and forth between these two decals. Now, this is the main decal for the Nets logo, and one of them had the bend in it. Then when I applied the other one, it had a crack in the end, and I'm just like, which one is the lesser of two evils? I do not want to print out new ones because, of course, I would have to wait for it to dry, and I don't want to have to keep wasting my water slide paper. So I'm trying to figure out which one to use at this point, and I'm just really over it. Now, this is the second tumbler. I cannot mess up again. Okay, so as you saw, I had to actually go back and forth. I do not like the way either one of them came out because this one got some scratches in it, but the other one had a much bigger scratch. So I'm gonna just have to go over this with the black marker, but this one had a scratch in it that I couldn't, like that was across all the white. So yeah, I'm not too happy with the way this transferred because this is the main logo. And I'm gonna do the Brooklyn, making sure this is centered right there. Slide that out. Make sure that is straight as possible. straighten that out. Now, had that ball been like more so in the middle, it'd have been perfect. Now, this one is the one that you want to make sure, I want to make sure that I have it lined up with this. And making sure it's centered with that. So I got two tasks. It is already off of the backing, but I need to hurry up and maneuver that. Looking at the side. And my head is going to definitely be in the camera because I gotta get this right. It's definitely not centered with that. It's kind of getting stuck in position and I don't want to rip it at this point. So I think I'm going to go with that and see how it looks. I'm going to rotate it just to see how that looks. Let me take a step back. It's not really centered with the ball, so this definitely needs to go over, and there's a bend in it right here that I'm not happy about, that I need to straighten out. But let's see if I can shift it. I cannot shift it anymore unless I completely pick it up. And I don't like this edge over here. So I'm gonna just shift it. I'm gonna wet it once again. Come on, water slide. I need that M, it's curling at the top. Back in the water. Unfold. Just put it back in the water if you're having any issues with it curling, like I am. Okay. Why does M keep curling under? There we go. Let's see. Okay, let's make sure this is centered. And I think the M curled back under. Just a piece of it. It did. I'm about to just go ahead and get the other one. You know, I'm a perfectionist, so I want it, you know, perfect. Have y'all noticed that every time I got to the Moo Dog decal, it kept giving me problems every time? I wonder why. The basketball is really annoying me. So I don't like the way Brooklyn looks. I might do Brooklyn over. So I'm literally just taking a black marker and just cleaning up these edges and where the black had got off of the water slide. Because this is my last water slide. So I'm really just trying to get those edges. I have my epoxy, I have it. I'm gonna stir this for about 3 minutes. I don't really worry about the air bubbles too much because I normally just pop them right out. I have about 20 mLs mixed up, and I normally just take a marker, you know, because sometimes when you're pouring, you can't see the lines. I'm gonna go ahead and start applying it to the tumbler. I'm just trying to get it all over first, and then I will start making sure I get the rim, but not inside the rim. So I'm actually going to go up. Okay. So I'm going to hit it with my heat gun. Okay guys, guess what? This was the first mug I did. I messed it up when I sanded it. I mean, this mug was perfect. All the decals were perfect. But there was a small, I guess when it was turning, I don't know how it happened, but there was a small little indent, or it wasn't level. So I was like, let me sand it. And of course, I sanded off some of the black. So I tried spray painting it. And of course, it wasn't even, but I was just testing it out. So I knew automatically I had to do this mug over. Did the second mug over. Y'all see me, I spray painted it because I covered this. Well, guess what? I wasn't happy. I was not satisfied because the little basketballs that I put on the side wasn't, even in the center. That was bothering me. That drip pissed me off. It all started with the drip. That little spray paint drip just threw the whole mug off. But I was rushing around yesterday. I'm a photographer as well. And I'm off camera because she got to get ready for this wedding. I'm a photographer. I have a big wedding to shoot. And I was busy all day long. And I left the tape on too long. So this one, y'all saw me on camera. It peeled off beautifully. You want that nice finish line at the bottom. This one was on for like over 8 hours, so I did not get a finished smooth line at the bottom. I tried to cut it on the seam, but it was just too hard to find the seam. It didn't cut evenly. So I started to pull up the old epoxy. It was hard, it wasn't cured fully yet because it's only been about what, 10, 12, I don't know. It's been on the whole day. Why I pull all that sucker off. All of it off. I was like, I can't send my friend this. He has been hounding me about this mug. Literally wanted it in the mail yesterday. So, Moo Dog, I'm starting all over again. And you're not going to find out until you see this video. I'm going to still try my best to get this shipped out Monday. Because today is Saturday. The latest Tuesday. But I can't do him like that because he's a very special friend. He's going to be helping me promote my business, and, showing everyone his mug. So I am doing this mug for the third time. Like the third time, you guys have no idea. I'm going to whip past this part, and we're going to do this mug for the third time. But I'm just showing you. Some people just don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I literally did this mug one time, and it was perfect. And then after I sanded it, I messed it up. Then I finished it again, and even though the decal didn't come out as great as this one, I finished it, had the spray paint dripped. I peeled it all off. Here is the proof. Peeled it all off. You know what they say. 3 times is a charm. Let's get it. dog. Okay, here is the final tumbler. It is finally finished after literally 3 tries. It's still not exactly the way I would want it to be. So right now I'm just gonna go ahead and clean it up, and you'll get to see that process. But this is it. I'll definitely show you another up close look at it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clean the rim, make sure that's nice and clean, because I don't want to hear nothing from my friend. Because you know how people are when you know someone and they just so extra, right? He already texted me talking about, is it in the mail? Said he already practicing his review. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean this up. And I always take my X-Acto knife and scrape out any epoxy that might be on the inside. I had promised I was going to ship this out today. Today is Monday. So because I had to literally do this again, and he does not know until he watches this video that I had to do it for a 3rd time. And because it's being shipped to New York, of course, Brooklyn, right? That'll give it more time to cure. So it's only been sitting, by the time I put it in the mail, a full 24 hours. A full 24 hours. And normally I don't want to ship them for at least 48. But it'll be okay because it's going to New York. And it has had a full 24 hours. So I'm just going to skip through this process, but I'm just literally cleaning this up, making sure I get everything out before I ship it off. Y'all wouldn't believe me unless I showed you. And guess what? I'm not going to show you because this video has been long enough. But when I just laid that down on the paper towel, oh my God, tell me why I messed it up again, because it wasn't fully cured. Do not touch your mugs probably for a good 48 hours. The paper towel left a small imprint on it, and I showed it to him. He was like, nah, I want my thing perfect. And of course I wanted it perfect. So literally I had to do it 4 times. So I'm gonna spare you the details, but just know I had to do this tumbler 4 times. Moo Dog was very satisfied when he got his Nets tumbler. I am so done. If I don't ever do another Nets tumbler, it will be too soon. This tumbler is finally done. I am so tired of this tumbler, but I think it came out great. I still have a few more touches I'm going to do to it, but I'm going to let it sit. I did just contact him and let him know I need to let it sit for another 24 hours before I ship it, because I want to make sure that the epoxy is completely cured and nothing touches it, nothing affects it. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Some tumbler yourself. And I hope my friend appreciates his new custom tumbler. You know, he's from Brooklyn, so he think he rough and tough. He think he's a bad boy. That's why he called himself Moo Dog. But he's such a gentle giant. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Peace.